Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Rocket League Championship Series Season 9, and welcome back home. I'm your host, Brody, Leaf X Moore, and just looking back, man, Season 8 was wild. One of the craziest seasons we've ever seen. NRG winning Worlds, G2, C9 just falling to the bottom. What happened there? But we had a lot of new blood rising to the top. The question is, will Season 9 be just as crazy? I don't know. Gibbs has a script. We'll find out in the pre-show in just a few minutes. What I do know is our schedule coming up today. One thing to know, we're moving from 8 teams up to 10 teams. It's going to be crazy, which means, a much longer season. And those 2 teams that got in through the promo, the auto promotion, was Flight and Sonics. Flight previously known as RBG, and Sonics previously known as Afterthought. The great thing is we get to see those guys in our first matches. But let's get this pre-show underway and head over to our friends at the desk. It's Turtle, Gibbs, and James Watt, ready for Season 9. How you guys doing?
It's going to be good.
Are you telling me I'm ready?
You are ready.
How do you know I'm ready?
I can see
you didn't ask me. I am.
James Watt,
we are ready.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
You called it.
This is going to be a fantastic weekend. We got RLCS Week 1. We have the play-ins going on at the same time as well for the Rival Series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this begins a lot of new stories for the RLCS, but not only that, those journeys to the RLCS. So it's going to be really fun to watch all the action today.
Yeah, and like you touched on, this is the result of the expansion season. This is the first time ever we'll see 10 teams in the league, and also Sonic and Flights, they're here because of that expansion. They didn't have to play any RLCS teams. They just made it right here.
And the competition is just getting closer and closer. Like you said, that expansion is so crucial. Now we can see even more underdogs.
Yeah.
This season is going to be more packed than ever. I can't wait.
But I do want to reminisce a little bit. I was talking about a crazy Season 8, and I think one of the crowning things, just an achievement for the Rocket League scene, is NRG and Garrett G lifting that trophy. So let's talk back to that, because I cried. I straight up cried. It was a beautiful moment, finally seeing that man. He tweeted out a long time ago, "I'm not stopping until I lift that trophy," and Garrett G did it.
And this moment, oh my.
It is the perfect way to end 2019. All year long, energy versus vitality, and we never got it when it mattered the most, into the grand finals, into the very last match. And then it goes to Game 7 overtime. It couldn't have got any better than energy, of course, finally hoist that trophy. But it's not about that they just won it and that they've been there every single time. They've always been one of the favorites to win it. That's why we wanted them to win so bad, because so many times just always disappointment for Garrett G, but finally he lifts that trophy. And again, we all got emotional. We all wanted to see them win it.
It's so scary. You think back to that moment. Now that it's done and now that it's over, NRG has won. It's an amazing story, but being in that moment, in that overtime, when there's overtime, and it's NRG again, Garrett G again, and Justin in this situation where they are 1 goal away from everything. Imagine if it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Imagine if that happened. But they won. It's just going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest wins that we'll ever experience.
That final clip of them just popping off and winning, I think I watched that maybe like 40 times.
Oh, I've watched it.
I could not stop watching it because you can see the genuine emotion from Garrett G. He's been there since Season 1.
Well, you played with him,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like emotionally, you must have been wrapped up in that.
It was crazy because it was like seeing the end of the story, and then now it's almost like a new chapter.
They will be unleashed this season.
A brand new chapter has started for NRG. It's even scarier now than ever, and it's just so satisfying seeing them win.
I think everybody can, and every team too, can legitimately say that they were just stoked and happy to see it. But again, big question, are they going to do it again? We're going to find out this season. Before that, we got to talk about, though, the new format that we're coming into the season. Gibbs, I'm going to let you take this one. We're moving from 8 teams to 10 teams.
Yes.
There's a lot more teams on the field now.
So we have 8 weeks of league play, which means we have 45 matches. We used to have 28 matches when it was 8 teams, so a ton more to play for. But then the regional championship, basically the same. The top 6 go, the top 2, they auto-qualify for Worlds. But now it's a little bit harder to make that top 6, of course, because there's more teams involved. When we get down to the bottom, that's where it gets hairy. We have 8th and 9th, they go to the promotion tournament. But if you come in dead last, auto-relegated for the Rival Series.
Yikes.
So every single match, we always say every single match matters. That normally means to make it to the regional championship. But now, when you're in the basement, you want to be back for one more season, or at least play in that promotion tournament. You won't even get the opportunity for a last place finish. So huge games all across the board.
Yeah, the pressure just like that adds so much more to it. And let's talk about the pressure those two new teams might be feeling coming into this. Sonics and Flight. You know, these guys got thrown into there. They didn't have to beat any teams to get into Season 9 league play for North America. They're here. So, you know, they don't have that same level of like, you know, where do we match up right now? Obviously, scrims can give that, but, you know, that extra, do you think they're feeling this pressure
definitely.
right now, especially knowing that last
It's the lower tier teams that are really feeling it the most because they are trying to just prove themselves and maintain a spot in league play. So it's going to be really difficult for them to actually find, you know, that proper play style, everything to get them kind of meshing in with league play because they don't even have experience going up against a team and beating out a team like they would in a promotional tournament.
But you look at some of the guys on those teams that made it in, like the Sonics, you got Dapper and Sathu over there. These aren't people who don't have RLCS experience.
Yeah.
These guys have been here before. They've experienced relegation. They've experienced getting kicked out of the RLCS and having to work their way back. So I think, for me, a lot of it, for at least the Sonics, they're not going to experience that as much. And then even for Flight, they've got Seabass and Memory. Those guys are also RLCS veterans. So this is going to be a very interesting season. Likely going to come down to the wire on who finishes 10th, but now it's going to be even more exciting than ever because of that auto relegation.
Well, the season's going to be exciting, but the offseason was also exciting. We had a lot of roster changes, 4 total in North America. Some expected, some not expected. Maybe even the players not knowing where they were going to go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you guys pulled some whiteboards. I love using these.
Let's do it.
Making us work.
I'm staying honest. My opinion will not be judged here. We're going to grade these roster changes. So we're going to take it, you know, the person leaving and the person filling those shoes as well. What you guys think about that? So let's just get right to it. We're going to start off with Mist to Ghost. Of course, he's replacing Memory. I wonder how you guys feel about this. We know Mist was looking around. He's been a great rock for Pittsburgh Knights in Season 8, defining the landscape of what the meta is now in just Rocket League, professional Rocket League. How's Mist going to fare on this new team? Is he going to, you know, be that right spot and it was Memory the right person to take out? Turtle, you know what? I think everyone's ready. Look at you got to flip them around. We'll just do them all at once.
Go.
Yeah, let's just see what we got here.
All right.
So we got an A, a B plus, and an A. So this seems like a pretty good. I'm going to make you talk. Why the B plus since you're the odd one out?
Because I do feel like Mist. So he was on a team that I felt like was a full team atmosphere where he was probably looking better than Memory because of his teammates, possibly. We're not sure exactly where they fit. So I think it's a slight upgrade over Memory, but I'm not sold on, like, is he a guy to propel Ghost to a world championship?
Well, the thing that makes it an A for me is the fact that they pulled a player off a world championship team to come over to Ghost to make that extra difference. So that to me is where it bumped up to an A. I think it was just a really good pickup for a team that couldn't have really hoped for better.
Okay.
So it's really controversial, too, because Mist, he was trying to try out for other teams, and that's why Pittsburgh Knights dropped him. I would assume Ghost was not his first pick, though, for those tryouts. I think he would have rather stayed with Pittsburgh Knights, but we'll see how it plays out.
He just seems like such an obvious upgrade over Memory. I mean, I feel like they kind of filled the same roles of being that third man, trying to be the defensive guy who's going to hold things down against, you know, maybe an aggressive player who's trying to take boost. And Mist, I mean, every single time I see this man go up for shots, anything, he always nails them. He's so consistent, and I think it was just a complete upgrade over Memory.
All right, we got some more to get to. Obviously, you guys.
How do I erase this?
Yeah, we forgot to bring tissue.
Yeah, we didn't plan ahead. I blame Gibbs.
Wait, blame me?
You're going to have to use my hand on this? Oh, my goodness.
Anyways, we're going to talk about Pittsburgh Knights. You know, you guys just mentioned a Mist. Leaving that obviously leaves a hole here. Yeah. So AJ moved over there from Rogue with Mist moving out. So how do you guys feel about this one now with AJ? You know, AJ was questionable on Rogue. Is this the right person? Because I feel like the play styles are completely different between Mist and AJ.
No cheating. Stop looking at our paper.
Oh, whoa.
Just wait.
You gotta walk.
All right. And flip. See, okay, yeah. I guess that falls in line with what I just mentioned there.
Where's the minus?
What is the minus? What do you mean?
You put a minus at the top.
Is that a
Where's it supposed to go?
It's supposed to go right in the middle.
What is that?
He's not a teacher.
We need a lightning round. We need a lightning round.
Explain yourself.
Okay.
We'll get to the next one.
AJ, I think I call him the silent assassin. I think he's nuts. He might have had a rough season, but Rogue itself was horrible. I just think they look so off. AJ, he has the talent and the mechanical ability to really excel on that if they find a play style.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. I agree with those ones there, so we'll move on to the next one.
Thank you, Luke.
Now, obviously, coming off Ghost, Memory and replacing Aeon on Flight. This is an interesting one. A lot of people were kind of questioning why Aeon was removed from the roster, but Memory is a very solid player, so I feel like those shoes can be filled in Aeon's place here. And flip them around. This time you're going with a C.
A C?
Hey, Turtle, you are in the hot seat right now.
I do not think you should have taken off Aeon from the team. I think
Okay, well, that doesn't matter. So you have to put that aside.
No, I can't. I can't put that aside because all the team synergy going into RLCS. I think it's the first time we've ever seen a team not start with their starting roster that they made through the rival series. I think it's going to ruin everything.
And also, Turtle, I just want to let you know, like, this is where the sign goes, not here.
Hold on. All right, guys. One more. We got to move on, but just give me your numbers quick. Sure. This is the one everyone's been waiting for. First killer to Rogue. This first killer is a player that's been in the scene for so long.
I think it's a positive because Rogue needed to make a move. So
I'm going B. I'm feeling B.
Okay, some people not as confident in it. Okay, we're going to move on now, though, and take the opinions away from you guys. You're going to be criticized a lot about these, probably. So let's put the pros in the hot seat now. Gibbs, you usually do power rankings.
Yes, you always make me guess.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to the pros, and I polled the pros and let them guess the power rankings because it's been an off-season where we haven't seen a lot of results. So I asked the pros to rank the teams 1 through 9, so to not include themselves. And so I asked the 3 starters plus the coach. And then I averaged down a full team's picks to 1 pick. So we have 10 picks, and then I averaged them all together. Okay. And we got a power rankings based on scrim results and all that. So probably pretty accurate. And we'll see if they can back it up when it comes to league play. So let's
So this is our best look into basically how things have been going off screen.
And honestly, this might be the power rankings I trust most because Gibbs didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good point. I mean, how much can you value it though? Because it's really before the league play starts. I feel like some teams, they really excel once they get that first weekend experience.
But the first team that really you have to look at, G2, 3rd place, and that's after a last place finish in league play.
Yeah, people are.
Looks like G2 is looking good in scrims, and we can see that because we saw them in Season 7. They almost won a World Championship. They look like they're back on form, at least according to the pros.
And then even for the Knights, we talked about the roster move with AJ. We didn't like it as much, but people still putting them in top 4. But the question is, will AJ's playstyle really come in and help them? But even E United down there at 7th. They were a world championship team.
That's crazy.
They were a world championship team, and they're 7th. So no respect from the pros. And honestly, I feel like we haven't given them a lot of respect either because you just look at the stats in some of the games. They have struggled at times, but they proved it at Worlds. They played well at Worlds. They showed us that they can hang.
And then we talk about those rival series teams. Well, they're the 2 at the bottom, so it looks like the RLCS teams are not giving them.
Not confident yet.
Undervaluing them,
I mean, they don't have as much experience.
Sure.
Against them. That's what I'm talking about. Right? As a player and as a team, we'll just progress through the league play. I think that that's really going to be in the middle of the season where they can determine if they're actually going to start and excel to the top. Like Space Station, we didn't expect them to be number 2
that's what I'm saying. Are you guys not questioning the Space Station number?
So because there has been some changes, I'm fine with it for now, just because of how good Sipical was, how good Arsenal can be. But the question for me is, there were games at the World Championship where Arsenal was invisible. He was MIA, struggling to get boosts, completely shut out of the game. But if they can play the way they have, they are up there at number 2. But I do have my questions.
Well, I know Chiefs is standing by to talk more about SSG, so let's get to your Get It moment presented by CDW.
Thank you very much, Leaf. It is the start of RLCS Season 9, and that means that I get to sit up here and talk about one team that I think is going to absolutely dominate this season, and that means it's these guys, Space Station Gaming. They popped off at the World Championships in Spain, and I look for that dominance to continue here in the North American season. So let's go ahead and get into some clips. These are all from Spain, and we'll see how they do, and a lot of it is going to come down to AXB. So let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. It all starts with how I feel AXB's defense has improved during the offseason. He's been much better at getting strong clears into great positions like that counterattack opportunity for Arsenal, and more importantly, the finishing has improved. And that's exactly why they moved AXB into that frontman role, because they weren't confident in his ability to finish the ball, and they let Sipical move into that role last season. And the best part is he is still capable. The North American MVP is going to continue to make teams look absolutely silly on the defensive side of things, while Arsenal is going to just get the ball into some dangerous scoring positions because he has such phenomenal ball control and can always get the ball through defenders and into scoreable positions for players like Sipical. So buy AXB improving his defense and his shot finishing capability, you're going to see Space Station Gaming turn into this true three-headed monster. You're going to have Arsenal and Sypical being unleashed on the offensive side. You can trust AXB in the backfield and to come in and finish a shot as needed. And basically, Space Station Gaming is going to easily end up anywhere in the top 4. So today they play against Ghost. It's going to be the match of the day, and I hope that it continues to go well for them. And this has been your Get It moment presented by CDW. So what do you guys at the desk think is going to happen against Ghost?
And this is why we had Space Station at number 2, or a lot of people have them at number 2. They used to be a running joke, the 95% team, but they couldn't finish shots. Number 1 shooting at the World Championship, number 2 shooting in all of North America. When they shoot well, they are a deadly team.
Yeah, and at the World Championship, AXB, he impressed me so much. You know, I have at times questioned AXB and his ability on that team compared to his teammates Arsenal and Sypical. But at the World Championship, he answered all the questions for me. Definitely. I thought he played so well and was such a vital part to their success in the World Championship. So I expect them to do big things if they can keep that going.
Well, let's break down the match today. And we're talking about Space Station. We'll keep it in there. Our match of the day, of course, is Ghost versus Space Station Gaming. How is this going to go? I mean, like, again, Space Station's the only team in this matchup out of 2 teams that is coming in with the same roster, right? You know, with Ghost pulling missed on here and losing memory, there's some adjustments have to be made. They've had time in the offseason. Is it enough time to pull up against Space Station Gaming that's now got that, LAN experience? They have so much coming into this.
I mean, I think it's possible. For me, for Ghost, it's all about damage control and how you deal with Arsenal going in for those demos and getting that boost, trying to disrupt everything. And it's so much, it's so much harder to annoy and disrupt Mist, who's so solid and sturdy on defense. And even whenever you lower his opportunities, Mist will find a way to find the back of the net, even if he only has 2 or 3 shots a game.
And so far, Ghost has answered those questions back on Wednesday for the Astro tournament, where every RLCS team was in it. Well, they won the entire thing. So they answered the questions at least in a minor tournament. But now with the RLCS here, more nerves on the line. We'll see if they can back it up. But again, the pros have them at 5th, Space Station number 2, so the pros think Space Station will take.
But, I mean, you just have to give them that respect, right? Yeah. And Ghost is coming in with a roster change, so automatically people don't rank that as high, I would say. But for me, it comes down to, can Mist help Ghost with their boost control and boost management problem? You look at some games last season, they just struggle to maintain that control, and Arsenal's a guy who's going to just destroy you if you give them that space. So I think for Ghost to play well in this matchup, they really need to make sure Mist in the backfield is keeping Arsenal at bay, getting those boosts, and helping keep his team upfield.
Well, we can speculate all we want, but I got someone on the line that actually is an expert on the matter, so why don't we give a listen? He was the foundation, the rock of Pittsburgh Knights, but now he's moved on over to Ghost. Joining me on the line, it's Mist. How you doing, man? You ready for the new season?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
I just want to talk about that journey. You know, you've moved over to Ghost now. That's your team. That's who you'll be fighting for in season 9. Can you just talk to me about the journey of moving around? You know, I heard it was a bit of a journey trying to figure out where you'd end up landing. Can you just walk us through that?
Yeah. First, I got approached by a team right after the Worlds, and my team wasn't the most accepting of it, I guess. So that kind of left me in a weird place already. And Ghost had a spot open, but they were going between me and First Killer, so I was just kind of out in no man's land, kind of just hoping to land on a team. But I guess it worked out.
Hey, it's a solid team to land on. Can you just talk to me about the driving force for yourself then? You know, what was motivating you to find something? Obviously, there's more you wanted to add to your Rocket League game. What was it that made you want to look around and find a new team to work with?
I really felt like I was just the main third man on PK, and I really want to get on offense more and show what I can do on both sides, I guess.
So now, what are the biggest things, coming into the season? You guys playing extremely well. You've got a good track record yourself. Now, what are the biggest things you've learned that you're looking to carry over and get better at coming into season 9?
Definitely just the speed of doing things. Last season, he's going to be really fast at everything in RLCS, so that's one thing I carried over.
Now, on that, you guys pushed the meta. You guys were making teams like G2 and Cloud9 shaking their boots, trying to catch up and adjust to how you guys are playing. Do you think that meta is going to stay the same in Season 9, or have teams adjusted, and is it changing yet again?
I think it's going to stay the same for a little bit. People are going to try it out and see how it works, but C9 and G2 definitely have to change their playstyle a little bit.
And for you on Ghost, what kind of position have you fallen into, and what can we expect from your gameplay later today?
Obviously, I'm still like third man, like centered, but I still play like a lot more offense on Ghost, so that helps a lot.
And we were talking before earlier. We think this match against SSG is going to be good. What are you most excited about this match? You think it's going to be super close or easy stomp for you guys?
I think it'll be close. They're a really good team, so it should be fun.
Awesome. Well, good luck in your match, and thanks for joining me on the line.
Thank you.
So, a funny thing that kind of came up to me there is like, I want to move up. I want to be on offense more. What position are you in?
Third.
It's like I'm still back here, and I know the pain. I know the pain of playing a third man, but
You invented that role.
I know. I'm sorry, everybody.
The original, the OG.
But for Ghost is a team that is making a roster move every single season, and I kind of like this because they've always been that team to finish 5th or 6th, 4 straight seasons, and it just felt like they always played defense first. So I really want to see Mist move up more and turn this team more into an offensive-heavy team.
Okay, well, I want to jump into some very important information right here, and it's our predictions for the day. Let's talk about how we think these matches are going to go. It's very hard coming in off the offseason to really make a lot of predictions, but it seems like we're falling in line. Even though it was a crazy season for North America.
Yeah, there's pretty much agreement across the board except for the match of the day where we split it.
And that's why it is.
And the reason why I picked Ghost in that matchup is because I think that Mist is going to be the answer to help shut Arsenal down.
I agree.
He really was a player that elevated the Knights so much, and he's going to give Atomic that space. And really the question mark will be, how can Illusion help with that as well? Because for Knights, with Gyro and
Reynolds?
Reynolds. They were just upfield, dominating everybody. So can Illusion and Atomic do that?
And the great thing about Illusion is that, Arsenal, he's so over-aggressive and he gets so many demos, but Illusion was following that second in the league for demos. He's going to play the aggression. Mist will be on the defense. And for pretty much every other game that we picked, we're really just spot on. That is the one we're split.
But I think you guys are forgetting that Space Station finished top 4 at the World Championship, and they looked pretty good. The only time they looked bad was when they played Dignitas, who they obviously looked amazing throughout the World Championship. So watch out for them.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I think it's a coin flip. That's why.
Sure.
Well, that's the question, though, is this a team that really excels once they hit that land stage, and is it going to change now that they've, Space Station has come back into league play where they're playing at home and don't have that energy? We know Arsenal uses that energy to pop off. Is he going to be able to have that?
We'll find out, right? That's the beauty of the offseason. We just don't know yet because we haven't seen these teams play. But one of the surprise picks, I think, for all 4 of us, we went Cloud9 over EU United, and the pros have EU United pretty low, too, and EU United's like, hey, guys, we were just at the World Championship. We finished top 4. We beat teams like Cloud9, so no respect given at all from us or the pros for EU United.
I think we're still stuck on the fact that we are kind of convinced that last season was really just a fluke for Cloud9, and we're expecting, Gimmick and them to show up again.
And maybe a fluke for EU United as well, because sure, they came in 4th, but their goal differential was minus 19. Their shot differential, minus 22.
You look at scoring, Ajax and Hoxer were all the way at the bottom. They were almost last. They were in the bottom 3, and Roldiz, he was up there in scoring, but his assists were nowhere because his teammates weren't scoring. He was cleaning up a lot of goals, but can they keep that going? I'm not really sold on EU United yet, but they've earned my respect. I respect them as a team, but I think it's going to be a combination of, I think Cloud9 is going to play to their potential. Gimmick is not going to have a disaster of a season like he did last season, and that's why I'm going with Cloud9. It's because I think they're going to bounce back.
Yeah. Well, that first one on there, we had this one unanimous. This is our first match of the day, so let's get talking about this one. Pittsburgh Knights versus Flight. We all had Pittsburgh Knights taking the win on this one. Is this just experience? We just don't know yet, or is it you're just confident now that Flight's just not ready to play a team like Pittsburgh Knights?
I mean, Pittsburgh Knights, they made a roster move, but Flight also did. But this is a good spot to play the Pittsburgh Knights at least because Brendan and AJ, there was a lot of chemistry issues on Rogue, and I think that's why it was a good move for Rogue. And AJ, a lot of double commits on defense. One of the things Pittsburgh Knights did not do last season was double commit. They executed so well on both sides of the ball. Number 1 save percentage, number 1 shooting percentage, and a lot of that was because they all knew how they played together. They rotated well, no double commits. AJ, he's a wild card at this point, so I think there is a shot for Flight here.
But Rogue really had no offense last season, so I feel like AJ was trying to force himself in positions to try and create opportunities for his team. And now that he has Reynolds and Gyro on his side, I feel like he's going to relax a little bit, calm down, and we won't see really a third man from him, but instead everybody kind of playing equal roles, equal aggression, and it'll definitely be a change in play style because they won't be so aggressive because they'll have to kind of delegate.
Well, I think
everybody.
if anyone has to go back, it's probably going to be Gyro because we've seen how much Reynolds likes to go upfield and how much he likes to play upfield. So it's interesting to think about what the dynamic is going to be for this team. But I just think for me, the reason I picked the Knights is because just looking at the raw talent. Look at the raw talent on that team. I just think they're going to overwhelm Flight, especially with Rapid. This is his first RLCS game. Seabass has been here before in season 4 and 6 with Allegiance, but he hasn't really had that many results. And then also Memory. You know, he's a good player, but I don't think he's a player that's going to carry a team.
Plus,
I think the Knights are coming out.
With Memory, there was 4 roster moves, and I guarantee you Memory would have liked to be on any of those 3 other teams. So he was kind of the last pick to go to Flight. So sure, this team's down in the basement. Maybe Memory kind of upgrades them a little bit, but I don't know if that's enough. But once again, for Flight and for Sonics that we'll talk about later, they did not beat any teams from the RLCS to get here. Every single week that they don't have a win, more and more pressure on them.
What are you expecting out of Flight then? What's the style you want to see them approach? Who's where on the field?
I think you just have to have solid communication overall and have, really even play style, because if you try and force too much of Memory being, the defensive end and playing passive, why are you shaking your head?
I'm shaking my head because the answer is simple. It's give the ball to Seabass. Let him shoot.
That's
it.
like Rapid.
I disagree. It is Rapid, but
Rapid is good, but he's failed me so many times. He's failed me so
the
many
rapid
times.
resets. I remember you called it like
every
4
week
times.
He's DMing me on Twitter saying, this is the week I hit the rapid reset, and it never happened. So I'm not going to ever count on Rapid ever again. He is a good shooter. I'll give him that, and he does have great mechanical ability, but Seabass, he is the key.
Honestly, I'm still thinking back right now. Guys, I got to switch it up. I'm thinking back like to Season 8 Worlds right now and how hype it was and how hype I am looking forward to Season 9 Worlds because it's going to be crazy. The question is, will it be just as crazy as Season 8? Let's find out, and let's go.
I think I need therapy when my feet gets the best of me. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. I didn't know I was a casualty until you stopped my heart and you made me see I need love. Confess, saw you in that red dress. I can't seem to understand how you got all that finesse. Still been running in circles inside my head.
Do what they could not do before.
I didn't know I was a casualty until you stopped my heart and you made me see I need love. I need love.
That's right. We're going to be heading to the Curtis Caldwell Center April 24th to 26th in Dallas, Texas. You can get your tickets February 22nd. And I know Wave Punk is doing a line dance right now. This is
He's wearing cowboy boots today.
Honestly, I'm going to get in the vibe too. I'm super excited. Head down there, get some actual good barbecue for once in my life, and watch some great Rocket League.
And we've had great fans there. We've been there for DreamHacks before.
Yeah.
We've been there for CRL.
Yeah.
The fans do not disappoint. It's going to be awesome.
Texas is you think of some of the hubs where the community is really concentrated.
Yeah.
Texas is one of those places. You think of like Chicago, Midwest area. Texas is another very big one, even just for the community. So this is going to be an amazing event to go to. This is more than many that I would say you really want to go to this one. The crowd will come out in full force.
Oh, definitely.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome.
That's awesome. But anyways, get online and let us know how excited you guys are for Dallas, Texas land on Twitter. Hashtag RLCS9. And throw a hashtag Let's Go in there too, at RLCS. But let's get Season 9 underway. welcome back to the desk. In case you guys are just tuning in now for kickoff, I'm Leaf alongside Turtle, Gibbs, and James Spot. We're just going to take a few more moments to talk about the first match coming up here, because again, first match of season 9, a lot of hype going on.
You debated all of us, man. It was underway. And
Gotcha. Yeah, no, we're going to talk a little bit more on this while we get the players on the field here. Let's talk about that first match again, about the Knights and how we feel they're going to fit on this field now.
Yeah.
We do feel like the Knights, success was heavily reliant, and Gibbs was mentioning this, on their third man, on Mist to be that rock, and now with AJ moving in there, the question is this going to be a team that's as solid, or are they going to have a very rocky start? And is Flight going to be able to take advantage of this on the field?
I mean, I think it's the same situation for both teams. Everybody's struggling right now with roster changes, and that means confidence and comfortability on the field is probably one of the most important issues. So I feel like whichever team can start out really strong and start building the momentum, that's the team that's going to carry it out, because a reverse sweep with a new team, a new roster, that's almost impossible at this point with the first league play.
So this roster move was not for week 1 of the RLCS. Like, this roster move was for the World Championship. The potential from AJ is sky high.
Yeah.
One of the best players mechanically in the world, and if he can kind of gel with this Pittsburgh Knights roster, then they could be a formidable opponent to win it all.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they make this move. It's not necessarily for week 1, but they tried him out through the offseason. They liked him more than Mist. So you have to trust him at some point.
You think back to New Jersey, and AJ was nuts. He was so good, and Rogue, they finished top 4 because of the performance from AJ. He has it in him. But like you had mentioned before, the rotations. Last season, if you watch Rogue's games, they were lost. In rotation, they were lost. And AJ was in the mix a lot of the time. So now that he's coming in, he's playing with Gyro and Reddles, who are players who have, they went through their whole journey with Mist. You think back to the Peeps in Montreal, that magical tournament. They did their whole run. They made it to Worlds with that old roster. And now you're bringing in AJ. You're changing that formula. So that, to me, makes the Knights vulnerable. That makes them vulnerable this season. And in this first game, however, this first matchup, I think this is the best matchup for them.
Right.
Because other teams, I think, will give them more of a challenge than Flight. Because we looked at the power rankings. Flight, were they on the bottom?
I think they were 9th.
I think,
ninth.
So they're down there pretty low. And I think it's for a good reason. They're a team that came in through the rival series, and now they picked up memory. They have a lot to prove. Yeah. But I think the Knights are vulnerable right now.
Sorry, just on that, I just want to keep it on AJ just for a second, is because we have mentioned about the inconsistencies. Now the question is that him, or was that just not gelling? And is
I think it was them not gelling.
Okay.
Truthfully, because it felt like Rogue at that time, nobody knew what was going on that team. Literally last season.
You could watch the games.
It really felt like it wasn't just focused on AJ. There were mistakes all over. Kronovi wasn't playing nearly as aggressive. Wonder was lost with AJ. It just felt like the dynamics were all wrong, and I feel like you can't base AJ's performance and his rotations off that really rough start and roster.
Because he did have a good week 5 against Cloud9. Yeah. He had a very good week 5. He had some stellar goals in game 3 that really helped put them over the top and avoid having to go to any relegation tournament. But this is the game. This is the series where we start to get some answers, and that's what I want to see.
And we need to see answers from Flight as well, because they made a questionable roster move as well. It's the first time that a player for North America was kicked from a rival series team that got promoted to the RLCS from Aeon. But when you look at their stats, sure, they were 6-3. They finished 3rd. They had a good playoff run, 2-0. But goals per game and goals against, right in the middle of the pack. This was a mediocre team that rised up in big occasions. And it looks to me that on paper that you should make this roster move. You need to upgrade this team, because that's not going to be enough for the RLCS. Again, they didn't beat any of these teams yet. They needed to upgrade somewhere. Maybe Aeon was not that answer, but they needed to do something.
Yeah, I get it. And I get both sides of the argument, right? Yeah. They're trying to put their team forward with the best chance of winning, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself, ethically, do you want to remove a player before they get an opportunity to prove themselves? Because we've seen teams like Birds and Bees who came in and no one thought they would do anything. They put them at last. I had them at last, and they ended up making the World Championship. So you never know.
Yeah, but
I understand the reasons.
There was a ton of backlash from the community, plus the pros. The pros were going against Flight a lot for this. But like at the end of the day, there was 3 other roster moves. Aeon's not on any of these RLCS teams, so the pros didn't want Aeon either. So the pros kind of agreeing with Flight, even if they thought it was a bad move.
But seeing that response even from the community can add so much pressure as a player because you know that everybody is rooting for you to lose. So once you start off a rough season, you start losing it all, that's going to slip into your head. Your thoughts are going to become more negative because you're going to think, maybe we shouldn't have made this roster move. Because at the end of the day, it was a risk. It was a high-risk situation, like you said, James, trying to just make sure they put their best foot forward. But it's going to be difficult because they don't have that synergy that they built all the way back in the rival series.
And then there was a tweet from Reynolds. He's like, thank you, RLCS, for an easy schedule, an easy 3-0 this week. So if you want to gain some fans,
man, every time
he says that to almost
everyone. Yes, but if you want to gain fans, Flight, you make Reynolds kind of be a little bit quieter. So, if they get a win here, they'll probably pick up some fans.
Just so you guys know, we're just working on getting our players in the lobby right now, and then we'll get into our first match. But I want to talk on that before those. Reynolds, when he says those things, he follows through.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is the thing. He's not a guy that just talks smack.
You say that, but I remember we were in Madrid, and we were at Five Guys, and I saw this.
Wow.
And I didn't get an invite.
Of course not. But anyway, back to the story.
You're a host.
There was a piece of paper on the wall that said PK3 dig 0. And I remember seeing that and thinking, that's not right. And then you go back and look, and it was, Dignitas ended up beating them. So, the threats of 3-0, I don't believe them anymore.
But what about all the results before that? He does that every single time.
That was most recent.
I saw this man stand up on the desk at DreamHack, and once I saw that, I was questioning it. I was like, okay, how long can he keep this facade up of just roasting everybody?
He's got
and
a lot
then
of bravado. I'll give you that.
Definitely, I think it helps him. I think it's good.
To me, and again, that confidence, the fact that he has backed it up before, makes me think that this roster move was good, and they're already in a good position right now, that they're already feeling confident. It's hard for me to believe, based off what we've seen AJ do, but the fact that he's this confident means that there's something working on the field here. Now, maybe it's just...
I think he's always that confident. And I think,
which is good. That's great.
Yes, I agree. And I think, it's even... you hear people talk about it. There's a degree of confidence that you have, and they're borderline of cockiness, arrogance. Yeah. Where does that line? I think Reynolds kind of dances along that line.
The perfect middle ground.
No,
I think he evens it out.
But they are a very mature team, though, because with this roster move that happened, Mist was like, hey, I'm going to try out for some teams, and they're like, that's perfectly reasonable, but that means we're going to try out other people, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with you 100%, Gibbs. The way they handled the departure of Mist was incredibly professional. We've seen a lot of people depart in ways that were not amicable, but the Knights, they handled that situation well. And I think for Reynolds, having that confidence is really key because as a player, you think back to some players, teammates that were like they would have self-deprecating humor. They would always, not really think the most of themselves or talk like they are the best player. I think that does translate on the field. I think if you talk confidently and you're always trying to say that you're the best and you believe that you're the best no matter what, that does help you achieve your potential. And I think that is a good thing for Reynolds. And I think that we need more of that.
I think it was a great decision, too, because if you imagine Mist coming back to the team after saying, I'm going to try out for other people, I mean, that can literally disrupt so much of the communication, the trust that was built there, like we said from last season. It would have been just a weird combination because they would have known in the back of their heads this guy was trying to leave our team. So they just want to start fresh with AJ. And I think, like you said, it was handled perfectly.
Gibbs, you're just kind of in the middle of this, right? Watching the back and forth right now. Well, do you think that confidence is still like an important thing to take it? Like when Reynolds says something, you should listen?
One of the most confident players, and maybe it's more for show on Twitter, is Turbopolsa. And he's won 4 world championships. So it's not a bad idea to follow in line with what Turbo does. So, I agree 100%. I would rather Reynolds be overconfident than be like, oh, man, I'm feeling really bad. We're not playing well.
All I was saying was I don't put any stock in it, right?
Yeah,
let him do his thing. Let him be confident. I just don't believe every time he says it's going to be a 3-0, it's going to be 3-0 because if that were the case, the Knights would be undefeated.
Number 1, yeah.
Every season.
To be fair, he never said that they would beat the team of Energy. That's the only team where he won't say.
Sure about that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He knows his limitations.
Oh, wow.
They know where to draw the line here. But let's focus on Flight again because they are going to be playing in this match in a few minutes. But a Flight now is kind of the opposite. They seem, Rapid can be, a character too, but the other guys are pretty quiet when it's out there. You don't really hear a lot out of them. And it seems to be that the new meta is have fun and be loud and just be out there with your personality. And I'm wondering if being too shy like that is really going to affect them against a team like this. And now I'm starting to believe that confidence is really going to affect this match.
So I think with the experience of Memory coming over, this will help these guys out. So I get that Seabass, he was in the RLCS, but it was a little while ago, and he had a rough couple of seasons trying to find new teammates. But I think Memory can kind of control Rapid a little bit, because like Rapid is that goofball as well. He needs to calm down, be ready for this. He's going to be extremely nervous going into this matchup. So I want to see Memory with that leadership, because I do feel like when Ghost got rid of Memory, I felt like they lost a little bit of that backbone for Ghost. So I worry a bit, but they did pick up Mist, obviously. Great pickup. But Memory is a great player.
He is a very good player. He finished, top 6 in scoring. He helped Ghost experience a lot of success. They were one series away from making it to the World Championship again.
Yeah.
But you look at you look at the players that Seabass played with back when he was on Allegiance in the RLCS. It was Ty-Not, Tyler, and Illusion were his teammates. Mm-hmm. And Illusion is still in the RLCS. Seabass is now back in the RLCS. So these guys, even back then, you could tell watching it that Seabass and Illusion, they both were very talented players. They'd made some really big plays. They had some close games. They just struggled to close series out. But I believe in Seabass's ability. I didn't pick Flight to win, but I believe in Seabass's ability as a scorer. Watching him in the rival series, hitting bangers, hitting these nutty shots, he has the ability. He is RLCS level. But the question is, can he find a way to win when he really needs to? That's where they struggled on Allegiance. And I think Memory and Rapid, the raw ability, they have a lot of ability, but they are still going to be outgunned by the Knights. They're going to need some kind of magical team play, I think, to get the win.
Well, I mean, if they're forcing in that new meta, you maybe just take them off the field, right? I mean, that could be a thing too. I don't know. Just positionally, I still see something different. And Gibbs, I haven't got your thoughts on this too. Just I still feel like I want Memory and Rapid on that offense rather than Seabass, and having Seabass be that experienced veteran that can back them up and just say, "Hey boys, do your thing. I got your back," and give them that confidence.
Like Memory has a lot of experience playing that third man, but with Seabass, one of the things that I loved when he was on Allegiance, and when Ghost picked up both him and Illusion, and Seabass was the sub, I thought it was the wrong move, because Seabass is so incredibly fast, and every time he hits the ball, it is like his speed is number one, then his touches are really good as well for the passes. I want him as that number 2 man, maybe even number 1, to begin the play. Because of that speed, he will beat out someone for a quality 50-50, and then you have Rapid or Memory come in to clean it up. So that's what I want to see.
Well, it's his mechanics, I think, that really make him shine. And like you said, the speed. So I feel like if I was that team, I would try and force him as the number 1 spot, the first guy going for the aggression, trying to get those plays, because I feel like he can beat out and win so many challenges in the midfield that can allow his teammates to push forward. Memory will probably be the finisher, and the guy who's kind of in the back, making probably the most communication, the most comms, trying to calm everybody down. And I think that if Seabass, like you said, he's the guy who has star power. If anybody on that team can really push them forward, James, I agree with you. It's got to be Seabass.
But I think if they win this series, we need a Rapid reset. We need at least one. That's the only way.
Was he in your DMs, though? Did he say?
He didn't tell me he was going to do it, so maybe it happened.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
What is a Rapid reset?
It's just a flip
reset. It's a flip reset that Rapid it's when Rapid does a flip reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
trying to coin the term.
Reset.
Yeah, he's trying to coin the term, but we haven't seen it yet. So maybe if he does 3 or 4.
If he ever hit a flip reset and I was casting, I'd call it a Rapid reset. But I've never called it a Rapid reset because I've never seen one from him.
Well, he didn't DM you. He didn't ask for it in advance, though. So now you just can't do it. You can't.
I'll still do it. I mean, I just don't think I'll ever say it.
You'll just do it up here, just yell it to
Rapid reset.
So I just want to give you guys something else to look at rather than our ugly faces right now. So we're going to switch gears and talk about SSG. We got some stuff we can show you guys. But let's talk about SSG again. You guys we're talking about flip resets. This is a team that knows they can do that. Arsenal. I just want to talk about their run and the confidence other pros are having in them as well. SSG is looking good, but are they looking second place good as the pros are talking about? Right? That's
I would say so. Just the amount of space that they were given at the World Championship, and then what they did with that space. The mechanical play from all 3 players. Not only that, with the solo plays, they took out the number 1 European team, and they did it easily. So these guys are the real deal. They are number 2 for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just want to see this on the field. We had 2 Astro tournaments throughout the offseason. The other one was Space Station versus the Pittsburgh Knights. Game 7, the play that won it, Arsenal, a double demo. Arsenal, we always talk about the backbone of teams. he is the tip of the spear. He needs to play extremely well for this team to succeed, and as long as he has boost, he will do that.
I look at SSG and I just see every single piece flowing together to finish off the puzzle. I mean, you've got Sipical, who's going in with insane shots, his shooting capabilities. He was the MVP. He is the player who is going to be hitting shots upper corner, flip resets, all that stuff. Arsenal, the aggressor, the guy who's going to get the bumps, try and throw everybody off. And then AXB popping off at the World Championship. Every single pass was on point. The way he moved the ball through the midfield was it was tier 1. You could not ask for any better.
And even though, going back, and you mentioned that they beat the number 1 seed, well, Reciprocity also got 3-0'd by the Knights. I think it was just a really tough series, or a World Championship for them. For SSG, I think they're very good. But I still, I'm not going to say definitive top 2. I think that there's going to be some movement potentially.
There is a lot of conversation.
It's top 4, certainly.
Yeah.
It's top 4, certainly. I don't disagree with that. But I have not seen enough consistency out of them, especially from the start of the season. They lost to E United. They looked horrible at the start of the season before making some changes. So kudos to Chrome, who helped them turn things around. But I need to see more from them before I give them that star banner of top 2. But I think they have all the pieces, like you said, Turtle.
So we talk about the conversation of 2 through 6. I feel like you could put anyone at 2. We know number 1 right now for North America. That's Energy. And they were, for the Pro Power Rankings, every single team had them number 1. So we know that. After that, there's conversation. You have Space Station, Pittsburgh Knights, and Ghost all looking good. But you can't forget about those 2 big 3 as well, G2 and Cloud9. They had one bad season. So we'll see if they bounce back. But that's the conversation right now, 2 through 6. All of them incredibly close.
And as soon as you mentioned G2, I cannot wait to watch them play because I had an issue last season of how they were able to change their play style. I felt like they were always going for that over-aggression, getting the midfield passes in.
I think they had
very routine. Yeah, they were very frustrated. You could obviously tell, but they weren't changing anything up. So how have they made it different? Like you said, the pros power rankings, they placed them really high up there. G2, what have they done to change it? I'm really curious to see.
And that's the beauty of this offseason and the curse, right? We didn't get to see these teams a lot, which is kind of fun. I was really hoping that G2 and Cloud9 would play nothing before coming into here because I wanted to see them right their wrongs through RLCS League play. Cloud9 did it a little bit on Wednesday where they made it to the finals. They took down Energy for the first time in over a year. And if you take down Energy, you have to be like, all right, now Cloud9's on watch for another top 4 finish. But it was one tournament, so we'll see. Week in and week out. Everyone's only playing once for the first 3 weeks. You have to keep it up for now 2 months. It used to be 5 weeks of league play, so a team could be hot for 1 month and look great. Now you got to do it for 2 months. It's a little bit longer.
So that's actually one thing we didn't get to really touch on the pro power rankings there was Cloud9. I honestly don't know how I feel about them being. I think they're in that 6th place spot.
Yes.
I feel like at least one more spot above that into the top 5 for me, because I really feel like the confidence from what I've heard talking to Torment and that it sounds like they've got adjusted to the meta. They know where they're going right now. I don't know how confident you guys are feeling them though. If you agree with the pros right now, obviously the pros have more insight with their scrims and stuff. But I also feel like Cloud9, it's hard to gauge them in scrims. So
it's definitely
it's just the way the RLCS goes, however. I mean, you could even, the rankings are one thing, but the reality is, like Gibbs said, you're playing one time in an entire week. Pros can have a bad series, and you can be a very good team and just have a bad series, and that's what makes the RLCS so challenging, is that you have to bring your best game for these single series a week. And Cloud9, there's no doubt that they have it. They're world champions. They've won it all. They've won it all before, so they have it in them. But the question is, in these RLCS weeks, are they going to show up?
So it's so weird for Cloud9 because in 2018, they end that year with a world championship. Then it's like maybe a little bit of a world championship hangover for 2019. People are like, oh, they're a little bit down, that they finished outside top 4 for a few DreamHacks for the first time ever. But at the end of the day, for the entirety of 2019, they were the 4th best team on average placements across every single event. That's 4th in the world, not just North America. These guys are good. They had one bad season. They remind me a lot of Space Station, where it's the tip of the spear that has to do well. We need Gimmick to play well, to begin everything for Cloud9 so their rotations work, so their possession works. I want to see Gimmick really pop off this season.
Well, we're still trying to get the players on the field. It looks like the guy mowing the lawn on DFH is taking his time out there. So we're going to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Don't you hang up again, baby.
Welcome back to the desk here. In case you guys are just joining in, I'm Leaf alongside Turtle, Gibbs, and James, but I'm not going to give you guys a chance to talk right now. We do realize there are some server maintenance things going on right now, so we're going to throw it to a bit of a longer break. We just want to say thank you guys so much for your patience and listening to us ramble on for a bit here, but it's time to jump into some free play and training packs and practice your flip resets. We'll be back in just a bit.
Somebody, how long he will be on my mind. He will be on my mind.
got me burning up. You take me higher. You take.
You got me burning up.
You take me higher.
You got me burning up.
You got me burning up.
You got me burning up. You got me burning up. You got me burning up.
You got me burning up.
You got me burning up. Yeah, you might want to get a fast track, but you can't just piggyback. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger. Before it's good, it's gotta get worse, and sometimes it's gonna hurt. If you're ever gonna get that bad, then you better plan your attack. You're brave. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger.
You're making touch me really to the songs we like. This unfamiliar glare blocks me out, I'm blinded. Inspired by efforts to keep you satisfied. I seem to be losing you, it's not worth the fight. Somebody come, I scream into the void. I reach for a hand to guide me through the shape speak through the walls of stone. When I saw you leave, I felt you go. I saw a spot of light, blinding from a distance. No more resistance. So I speak up, I scream into the void. I reach for a hand to guide me through the shifting land below. I'm running up, the walls are closing in. I feel the cold embrace, dust we rise and dust we part.
Won't you come over? Dying to know where you came from. We're breaking open. Feel like our future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world. Waiting for no one. We're headed straight up for the sun. They'll never notice. We'll take these cities on our own. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Rocket League Championship Series. I'm Leaf X, me again, but I do have some bad news. Unfortunately, as you guys know, we are having some technical issues that we can't resolve at the moment, so we'll have to move our matches to a further date. Now, you guys can jump online on Twitter at RLCS to find out when those matches will be played and keep that hype going. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the patience here, but we'll have Rocket League in the future again. Jump on Twitter to find out when those matches will be. Thank you for watching Day 1, and we'll see you in the future.
Burning like a sun, loyal as a soldier, nailing at the stars, hoping that we'll be right. We'll be right. You'll be home. You gotta help me out, help me out. Riding coasters to dream your eyes. You gotta help me out, help me out. Swim the oceans to breathe your life. Don't you hang up again, baby. I just can't be alone tonight. Don't you hang up again, baby. I just can't be alone tonight. Don't you hang up again, baby.